You don't have to do a master's in automotive engineering to work in an automotive company in Germany. I have to make this video because there are still so many people who are, asking me the same question again and again. But why are so many people crazy about automotive engineering? This craze exists in like almost all Indians, especially the ones who have done bachelor's in mechanical engineering, but this craze does not exist among Germans. And why is that? To understand that, let's go back in time. India fought and gained independence from its oppressors in the year of 1947.
At the stroke of the midnight hour, when the world sleeps, India will awake to life and freedom.
Meanwhile, what was happening in Germany? Companies like Mecedes-Benz, BMW, Audi, Volkswagen were being established more or less around the same time. Why did I show you all of this? These companies existed even before our independence, some of them more than 100 years old. There isn't craze among most of the Germans for these companies like we have it in India. BMW is to them what Tata Motors is to us. Are you fanatic about Tata Motors? Well, some of you might be, which brings me to the second point. Majority of you are studying in tier 3 colleges. Now there are a few questions which I want to ask you. This is gonna be a bit technical, but bear with me. How many of you have studied in a college that have advanced research labs? How many of you have worked on conducting experiments to discover new materials for additively manufactured components? How many of you have worked on conducting experiments of using artificial intelligence to reduce the downtime and improve the efficiency of a manufacturing process? I already know the answer. But we have something else, something very different and very special which has motivated most of the tier 3 college students to pursue automotive engineering for their master's degree. Baha and Supra. Now these competitions are really amazing, and if you are getting an opportunity, you should definitely participate into those. But the problem here is that is all we have. That is the pinnacle of research and development in tier 3 colleges. Pinnacle. After participating in these competitions, everyone wants to work either in Formula 1 or maybe in BMW. Enter any other company here. You were never exposed to working on other things. All you were exposed was with Baha and Supra. Nothing wrong in that either. That was one of the best things which was available to you in your tier 3 college. But understand how it influences your career decisions. All you think about is automotive, but the reality is that there might be other things that you might have had found more interesting than automotive, but you were never exposed to those things. Coming back to one of my questions about conducting experiments and discovering new materials. Now this comes under material science, and I'm sure that many of you find this subject to be boring. You know the reason behind that. You have only gone through the theory, that too few days before the exam. Have you ever done anything practically in the field of material science? And I'm not talking about those practical sessions where there's only one professor and 50 students working on a machine. Not that. I'm talking about, have you ever dedicated 6 months of your student life into researching or working on a project related to material science? If you have actually done that, then you are one of the lucky ones in a country who has got that opportunity, especially if you're from a tier 3 college. Secondly, you know that the more you work in a field, the more hands-on experience you get, the more you learn about that, and the more interest you generate into that field. Again, the problem is that because of Baha and Supra, you were never exposed to other things which actually confined your viewpoint. According to psychology, something which is rare usually has a very high value. We always desire to pursue and own rare objects in order to distinguish ourselves from others. For instance, there is only one Mercedes plant in India, in the city of Pune. The Mecedes-Benz plant in Pune employs 1,000 people. On the other hand, there are 9 Mercedes-Benz plants in Germany. The one in Stuttgart employs 19,000 people. So you can see the supply and demand difference. Now, since the number of plants are like 1 or 2, and the number of people they can employ are also very less. Very few people get hired into these companies in India. There are 15 lakh students or 1.5 million students which are graduating every year in engineering in India. One Mercedes-Benz plant in Pune and one BMW plant in Chennai cannot hire everyone, and the ones who get hired are treated like gods, and that's a serious problem. Many of them deserve to be there, but it also depends upon the college you're graduating from. Like if you're graduating from a tier 3 college, it's highly unlikely that you'll get an opportunity to even get an interview call from one of these companies. Finally, since BMW and Mercedes are luxurious brands in our country, this idea also gets transferred that working into those companies would also bring luxurious status. Whereas this is not true. Again, these companies are really reputed and there is amazing R&D going on in these companies. That should be your goal of working in these companies, to get exposed to research and development which would bring about a revolutionary change in the automotive industry. And once your focus is on that, you will know that you don't have to do masters in automotive engineering to work in any of these companies. You can study computer science and then dive into machine learning and then work in the field of autonomous vehicles. You can study material science and help in researching new materials for manufacturing an automotive chassis with a high strength to weight ratio. You can also study chemical engineering and then work in the field of batteries where experts are required. Batteries, which are the core components of electric vehicles. But again, you didn't get that exposure, and that is the reason why you'll always tend to have this narrow viewpoint. And even if people like me would try to tell you that, you won't bother to listen. Automotive companies are a cluster of different fields, and people from many different backgrounds come together and contribute to the success of the entire firm. When millions of people in India want to do automotive engineering masters in Germany, just calculate your chance, your probability of getting an admit. You can try if you want, but how is it different from, running the same rat race which you ran when you gave your JEE, joint entrance exam? Why not take a different route which is less competitive and thus less painful and would also land you in a much more satisfying career? And it's not like that even if you get into masters in automotive engineering here in Germany, you'll become a millionaire. That's not gonna happen. You're gonna earn almost equivalent to others. And that's the beauty of living in a developed nation. And I know for sure, even after explaining so much, there would be people who would say that automotive is my passion. And again, that's what I explained. Question where that passion came from and how much is that passion in congruence with the reality. Instead of Baha and Supra, if you would have had worked in a research lab for developing new laser systems for additive manufacturing, for example, what would have been your passion then? New interests and passions develop when you expose yourself to new things. Competitions like Baha and Supra really help you to get some kind of a practical experience, but it also has to be combined with some kind of coding skills as AI is taking over. And if your passion is to stay in the 16th century, then I wish you all the very best. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you got some value out of it, please give it a thumbs up and please do subscribe to this channel. See you next time. Bye.